I got a few tour dates to tell you about: Wallingford, Connecticut; Portland, Maine; Bangor, Maine; Moncton, Canada; Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll be back for the USC LSU football weekend. Oklahoma City, Northern Little Rock, Springfield, Missouri; Kansas City, Missouri; Sioux Falls, South Dakota; La Crosse, Wisconsin; Green Bay, Wisconsin; Moline, Illinois. You can get tickets for those at theovon.com/TOUR. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for tuning in. Today's episodes are regarding the conflict in Israel and Palestine. I've heard a lot about this issue, and I wanted to deepen my own understanding. I recognize that this is a sensitive topic, but the only way to truly learn is to seek knowledge. I decided to have guests from both sides of the aisle, if you will, to help me learn by sharing their views. I did this in separate episodes because I'm not a debate moderator, and I chose guests who I thought would share their views sincerely, and I think both of them did. I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to learn, which is something that they don't even have in some countries. Today's guest is a comedian who was born in Egypt and now lives here in America. He's also a political commentator, writer, and a former medical surgeon. He's been called the Jon Stewart of the Arab world and has been pretty vocal about the Israel-Palestine conflict for years. You may have seen his viral appearance on Piers Morgan. We're going to talk about that and a lot more. I'm very grateful for his time. Today's guest is Bassem Youssef.
Shine that light on me. I'll sit and tell you my stories. Shine on me, and I will find a song. I will sing it.
Bassem Youssef.
Yes.
That's how you say it, Bassem?
No, Bassem.
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 Oh,
It's a
yeah.
softer Bassem.
Oh, Bassem.
Not Bassem. Yeah.
You're shooting a special at the Wiltern
Yes.
on
The
October 4th.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what kind of so your audience is it predominantly, because you're Egyptian,
Yes.
and is your audience mostly like Egyptian folks, or does all Middle Eastern people come out and support a Middle Eastern comedian?
Mostly brown people, 60% Arabs, sometimes 50%, and then maybe 20% like Indian Pakistanis, and then the rest are white.
Yeah.
So I get like between 20 to 30% white people, but it's different from each state, from each show. So it's been quite a ride, to be honest.
Yeah, you've been doing comedy because you were a surgeon,
A heart
right?
surgeon, yeah.
You're a heart surgeon.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Bro.
I know.
Why would you stop doing that? Why would you?
No, why do it? Because medicine is terrible. It's a thankless job.
Is it?
Yes, I spent 19 years of my life in medicine. 19 years of my life. And I say in my show, I mean, you do that because that's what's expected of you in the Middle East. In the Middle East, you're expected to be one of three things: a doctor, an engineer, or a disappointment. So I didn't want to disappoint my parents. So I went into medicine, and I went there for 19 years. I didn't have any kind of aspirations. It's like, what do you want to do? Well, I'm just going to do the regular stuff. I wasn't the guy who's cracking jokes in class or anything.
Really?
No, nothing.
Look,
A regular guy. Just a regular, boring guy.
Really? Just a boring guy?
Very boring.
And then, so how do you realize that you're able to be a comedian then? Because that's kind of...
I didn't.
You didn't think at all when you were a kid?
I didn't. Revolution happened in Egypt 2011, and I just happened to be like a regular fan for Jon Stewart. And so I watched Jon Stewart for years, and I had this dream of maybe I'll be a writer on a similar show in Egypt. So when the revolution happened, and I saw the kind of crazy stuff that they've been showing on television, so it's like the craziest conspiracy theories ever.
And that was a revolution in Egypt?
Yes. So the state-run media was running all kind of crazy stuff. So I started doing YouTube videos making fun of it.
Yeah.
Blew up. And in 2 weeks, I had millions of views on my YouTube channel that I just opened. I didn't even have a YouTube channel before that. And then suddenly every single platform, every single television station want me on the show. Wow. And now do a show. So I did a show out of nothing. And I hired people who were not in the business, people who were like amateurs like me. And it became the biggest show in the Middle East. And I had 40 million people watching each episode.
And so how does that end? So did you just...
Oh, I was kicked out. I had my show canceled a couple of times. I had even the satellite signal jammed a couple of times. I had lawsuits. I had shows shut down. People threatened around me. I was threatened. And then by both regimes. I went through 3 different regimes.
Oh, wow.
Military, Islamist military, and then they both hated me.
At that point, it's you.
Yeah. When you make fun of people and everybody hates, it's like, okay, I think you're doing the right thing. And I couldn't do the show anymore, so I escaped. I left Egypt, 2014. I came here into a very dark era. I didn't know, like I was everything, and then I came here and I'm nothing, nobody, and it was humbling. Because I thought, hey, I have a good story. I'm a doctor. I did comedy. I should come here and Hollywood should open its door. Nothing. Nobody cares about you. It's like, yeah, you were great in Egypt. Now, we don't know what to do with you there. So
I think it's got to be a big transfer. I think that's scary. That would have to be one of the scariest things, I think, for a comic is going to another country, because the entire template of everything is different. Like the pentameter of what's funny, like things that people know and don't know, references, all of that. And then you're in a whole new space, and Hollywood does not care, really. It's like you show up.
They don't care.
It doesn't matter.
And you have to understand, I was even a comedian who changed. I just been there for 3 years. I just left medicine, did a show out of nothing, became successful. So I only had 2-3 years under my belt coming to America as a comedian in Arabic. So I come here. So I started doing stand-up comedy, and I sucked so bad because it's my second language. And also I did, it's not just the language, it's the rhythm, the music. Each language has its pauses, its rhythm, its cadence. And I would write stuff that would be intelligent, but I wouldn't deliver it right. So I went into years of darkness and humiliation. And
that was here in the U.S.? That's when you first started stand-up?
Yes.
Wow. Where was your first set at here?
I did something in the improv, like open mic, and it was terrible. And I did a few open mics, and then but here's the thing, here's the trick. What helped me is that I was someone with a good story, so I didn't go into comedy the first like right away. I won a speaker series. I'm a guy. I came from the revolution, Egypt. So I wouldn't go to talk to universities and
like
stuff.
A talk.
Then with that talk, I would put jokes, and then I was like, oh, I have a 5 minutes. Let me try it. And then I suck. It's like, no, that's not the 5 minutes.
Now I have 2 minutes.
2 minutes. So I would go back and forth, and went for years. And when COVID hit, I still went on the road because I needed to have any time I can get. So I would go and I would play for 5 people, 6 people. And it was funny that people knew me from Egypt, from my own country. Arabs and Egyptians would know me. It's like, and they would see my name. It's like, oh, we have to come and see Bassem Youssef. Now, in their mind, is this guy with this huge show, and they come, and I'm a struggling comedian, and I would see it on their faces. They would say, oh, too bad. Bassem is a has-been. Maybe he'll be driving an Uber in 3 months. Yeah, maybe this is how he'll make his money. So it was very humiliating for me. And then 2 years ago, something happened. Started to filling spaces, places. I have kind of a few sold out shows, and it went well. And last year, I was actually talking about shooting my special already. I was having interest. And then October 7th happened, and then I blew up because of Piers Morgan. And more people came to me. But here's the thing. When I was complaining about not having enough people coming to me, I wasn't ready yet.
Oh, yeah.
After October 7th, now everybody knew who I am.
Yeah.
So they came to my show.
And you were a little more prepared.
If the Piers Morgan thing happened, if the
2 years earlier,
2 years, I wouldn't be good enough. And people will come and get disappointed.
Yeah.
So I think I took my time, and I think I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, it's funny you said about like your time and how it like you think you have. I remember when I first thought I had like 5 minutes. I'd be like, I got 5 minutes. Calm down. But then you realize if you have 5 minutes, you really only have like 2 minutes. It's like when you cook the fat down and kind of figure things out. Yeah, that Piers Morgan thing was huge for you.
Yes.
That was huge.
Came out of nothing.
Yeah.
It came out of nowhere.
A comedian friend of mine, Amir K, connected us, and he works with me a lot on the road. And this was absolutely, this was just so funny and insightful and ridiculous.
Yes.
Did you know it would have that big of an
No.
impact? It has 22 million views.
Yes. Yeah. That's, I went into that and I was warned by everyone that I know that not to go on the show.
Yeah.
Because at the time with October 7th, there was a certain story and a certain perception, and no one was allowed to talk outside of the perception. It was all one-sided. And my wife is half Palestinian, and her family, many of them are in Gaza.
Oh.
And they were bombed, and she lost many of her family members all through the years, but it became so natural that Gaza gets bombed, that it's crazy that this is a part of their life. So we don't even talk about it. It's
Right.
like I don't even hear anyone about anybody of her family until a bomb goes on. And that's not just like the last 8 months. I'm talking about like years. So when that happened, and I saw this is one-sided, and my side of the story is not being allowed to talk, but nobody is willing to listen because everybody was hysterical. So when he went there and he said, like, how's everybody? How's your family? I was like, well, I know I tried to kill my wife, but she's using my kids as human shields. So I used the same stuff that they're using because the way that they were justifying the continuous attack was ridiculous. One of them was by Ben Shapiro and even DeSantis. He said, well, Israel warns Palestinians before bombing them. It's like, oh my God, how cute.
Yeah.
Wow. So like if Putin warns Ukrainians, it's okay for Putin to bomb Ukraine because as long as you warn them, that's fine. And I found out I thought I think Israel became so effective of warning them that they actually warn them ahead of their funeral. They actually been sending flowers to the funeral. It's like we're very sorry for your upcoming loss. We're gonna be there in 10. I mean, it's like, are you guys gaslighting us? And then I was hearing, oh, there's so many babies we kill, but we cannot help it. What do you mean? If you're the most funded, most advanced, most trained, most supported military in the Middle East and you can't help killing babies, maybe you can stick to your day job. Maybe maybe genocide is not the hobby for you. It's just so it kind of like drew it was for me. The justification just drove me crazy. So I took every single element that they were taking and I just regurgitated back to them.
Right.
And he said, so what should Israel do? It's like exactly what they did. Kill more people. Why not kill more? Kill more, because the whole idea, if you talk about ceasefire, of please stopping the killing, you have all kind of arguments not to. So, all right, let's do whatever you want, guys.
Yeah.
And then show them how ridiculous, because this is what comedy does.
Comedy, that is the job of comedy.
Comedy doesn't counteract. It's like, all right, let's see your idea, and let's multiply by hundreds, and see how that feels. Because it is funny how the most crazy question that they asked me, remember that, Theo? What's the proportionate response? What's the proportion? How many dead bodies can we get away with?
Yeah, what's an evil? What makes things fair?
What's a good number to kill?
Yeah.
It's like, I find it very interesting how the media suddenly is interested in calculus. It's like, if one Hamas rocket equals 10 Israeli strikes, how many funerals can we plan for next week? What is this?
Are there people in Gaza that are consuming your content that are able? That do you think it's bringing some relief? Because I can only imagine
if they have some internet,
right?
Because you understand, Gaza is basically, it's sealed off.
Okay.
Even before October 7th, forever. I love it how he was just like, we left Gaza. We're not occupying Gaza anymore. Yes, but you're making an embargo of sea and water and land, and no, you cannot give 5 calories inside without going through the checkpoint. So it is fine. It was like, we're not occupying you, but we are locking you from outside. Yeah. So when they get internet,
right,
sometimes they do, and I get a lot of people supporting, and someone sent me a video that made me cry. In the middle, after a bombing, they were like sitting, kids, and they were playing my video. Somebody downloaded they played my video on like an old television in the rubble, and that made me cry.
Oh. So yeah, just so my listeners know, because a lot of us we're curious about Israel and Palestine. You hear about it all the time, right? But some of us we don't even know like what's going on there.
Yeah.
You know, because also a lot of the news you get, you're like, is this news even accurate? You know, like what filters is the news going through? So yeah, what do you feel like is happening between Israel and Palestine? What do you think is happening in Gaza? Is that the question?
Yeah, it is. It is a very complicated question. Here is the question of the century. What's happening there? Well, I don't want to talk about October 7th, not just now, because things didn't start on October 7th.
Yes.
There is a country called Palestine that's been there, and in this piece of land, many people have went in and out, had kingdoms, have empires, have states, and they were like any other place in the world, right?
Yeah.
So very recently, and I would take as recent as like 150 years, there was a promise by the Jewish people in Europe to have a national state or a home in Palestine, which was very weird because most of those Jews were in Europe, and they were persecuted by people in Europe. Even before Hitler, there was pogroms all over. And there was like
what all over?
Pogroms, like kind of like mini Holocaust, where they would like go persecute them and they would like displace them. Most Jews in Europe didn't have a good life in Europe, especially in Eastern Europe, especially in Ukraine and Russia. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have pogroms. It's called pogroms all over. They have been
Pogroms,
pogrom, Pogroms.
Yeah, pogrom right here, an organized massacre of a particular ethnic group, in particular that of Jewish people in Russia or Eastern Europe, what you just said.
So they have been treated quite nasty in Europe for so many reasons. Many of them can actually track it back to the whole sin of Jews killing Jesus. And since then, the Catholic Church in Europe and many Christians in Europe have really dealt with Jewish people in a horrible way.
Yeah, well, and you should have killed somebody else. I think because they're going to hold that against you. Some people are. You should have killed whoever else was there.
Yes, exactly.
Or not Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
I don't even know who did or where it was. Was it like one of those like murder mystery dinners or something like that?
No, because like it was the new religion, and then there was the whole idea about like Jews pushing the Roman ruler to crucify Jesus. But that doesn't matter because you shouldn't kill anybody for the sins of their parents. I know. But anyways,
they picked the wrong guy.
Yeah, I mean, they picked the Son of God.
Yeah. Now I also, but if you're gonna aim, you got to aim high.
Can you imagine if like they're going with Jesus and then somebody's like, "Hey, he's been made."
Guys, he's a made man.
He's a made man. He is the made man.
Let's kill the other. Let's get this other guy.
So for years and years, it's not going well for them. And then after First War I, there was a promise by the British government to the Jews to establish a home in Palestine.
Why did they pick Palestine?
Exactly. Why?
Was there other options that they could have chose?
There was Argentina, Madagascar, and Uganda. And
Ooh.
as a matter of fact, the British government gave the Jewish people about 8,000 acres in Uganda in order to start a home, but it was difficult for the Jewish Council at the time, or the Zionist Council at the time, to bring people to go to Uganda or to Argentina. It's like, no, the only way that we can do it is to send them to Palestine because it's the Holy Land, it's the Promised Land. So
did they choose Palestine, or the British people, or because this was after World War I? It was like Britain and America.
Yeah, in 1917, there's something called the Balfour Declaration, which is he was one of the British government who said, we can give you the state of Palestine as your homeland.
Okay.
But before 1917, there were many, Balfour Declaration.
The Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government in 1917 during the First World War, announcing its support of the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, then an Ottoman region with a small minority of Jewish population.
See, I like your fact checking everything, and it's coming great.
Well, this is good because I always wonder some little things, and I know little things, but I don't know enough.
But before 1917, there was other trials, so with other options for the countries I told you. And you know what's the kicker? That's funny. Many Orthodox Jewish rabbis objected for Palestine to be the homeland because in their Jewish faith, we cannot have a land for Israel until the Messiah the real Messiah, because they don't believe in Jesus, their Messiah would come. So they were a huge opposition for having a land of Israel in Palestine.
In Palestine, because it was a
Yeah, because it was not religious. It was not the time yet. They should wait until the Messiah to come, and then that will create the land of Israel.
Oh, I see. So wherever the Messiah showed up, that would be the land of Israel.
But the secular Zionists at the time, they said like, okay, how about like we build the land and that will force him to come. So kind of like build it and they will come. How about that? So you understand?
Like Field of Dreams kind of.
So because here's the thing, because many of the people who talk about like Israel as being like a biblical promise, even they were not having a consensus of where should we have. So whoever tells you, oh, it's consensus, it's divine. No, they even had problems deciding. So anyways, and at that time, especially 1930s after Hitler came to power, there were like droves and droves and droves of Jewish Germans and Jewish Polish people and Jewish Russian. They were like they went onto refugee boats and they came to Palestine. And you know why? Because they were not granted visas by the United States. They were not granted visas by other European countries.
Wow, so a lot of Jewish, like German Jews, Polish Jews, they weren't granted visas by
the West.
By the West, but they were by Palestine.
And Palestinians didn't have anything because it was a mandate by the British. They were occupying that land, but they were Palestinian people. So this became the myth of a land with no people to the people with no land. And if you actually find that, you will actually find that thing. This was one of the myths: a land with no people to the people with no land. So they will tell people, hey, there was no people living there, so it is ours. It is just a desert, but it was never a desert. There were like more than 1.2 million Palestinians living in that area, a piece of land.
Before the Balfour Declaration.
Before the Balfour Declaration. Then the Jewish people coming in, and then many of those Jewish European residents started to form militias and armed gangs. Like the Haganah, the Irgun, the Stein. And
now, were these Jewish people that had just been like rescued from from the Nazi Germany?
From Nazi Germany, yes.
Okay.
1930s all the way to the Second World War.
So they started to move to Palestine, which
Yes.
is now Palestine and Israel. What was it called at that point?
It was all called Palestine.
Even after Israel was given the land?
It was after giving the promise.
The promise.
Because if you read it, it was giving a promise to make the land in the land of Palestine.
I see.
So even many of those Israelis had Palestinian passports. So the land was called Palestine, and there were Palestinian people living there, 1.2 million at least. Fast forward, I'm not going to go into so many details. Now, fast forward, 1948. 1947-48, there was like many wars happening, many attacks between the Palestinians and the Jews, because the Palestinians said like, you're coming from Europe and you're taking our land. It's like, no, this is our biblical land now it's ours. And those Jews were like supported pretty much by the British and the American. You think that's like, oh, we don't want them back, so take all the weapons and stay there. So. And then there were a UN declaration, a partition. It's called a partition, 1947. And they gave the Jews, who were less than 30%, more than half of the land.
Okay.
And they gave the the Palestinians, who were much more, like 49%.
And who was helping dictate that? Who was helping, not dictate it, but who was helping like facilitate it?
Well, after Second World War, after 1945, the British and the Americans were like kind of the world superpower.
Right.
So they were, at the time, I think
they were running the chessboard.
I think it was Truman. It was Truman in power who basically pushed. And there's like a video, black and white video for Truman describing, it's like, we were trying to please everybody, but it was difficult because we were putting them people into other people's land, and it's there in black and white.
Right.
So that why I'm giving this, because these ideas, see. Mm-hmm. Former President Henry Truman talks about generating power in the Middle East. It is just like, if you watch them, especially the one in front of the map.
Yeah, the one in front of the map.
The two on the front of the map, you know.
Roy Anderson was one of them. Yeah. We had several other people in the country, even among the Jews, the Zionists particularly, who were against anything that was to be done if they couldn't have the whole of Palestine and everything handed to them on a silver plate so they wouldn't have to do anything. It couldn't be done. We had to take it in small doses. You can't move 5 or 6 million people out of a country and fill it up with 5 or 6 million more and expect both sets of them to be pleased. We had
So you-
all
so-
sorts of.
So you see, I'm really talking about this because if you want to talk about October 7th, you need to talk about the basis because they will always get a point of time. The basis of this was a land of Palestinian people. People from Europe came in and they started to import other Jews from the other parts of Arab countries. And they said, this is our land now for whatever biblical reason, whatever. Because doesn't make any sense. This is like me coming into your podcast studio. So like, hey, my fortune cookie told me that this is mine now. And I'm allowed to kill you. I don't care about what your Bible or Torah or Quran tells you. If you have a holy scripture, good for you, but that doesn't dictate political decision that can affect the lives of other people in the region. So this is exactly what happened. And what drives me crazy is that we hear the whole idea about like the chosen people or the chosen people or the chosen people. Okay, fine. You think you're a chosen people, good for you. Everybody think they're chosen. Christians think they're chosen. Muslims think they're chosen. But what drives him crazy is the Christian Zionist, the pro-Israel Christian Zionists who say that they are chosen, that the Jews are chosen. And I'm sorry to say, isn't Jesus your guy? Are you in an open relationship?
He was.
Are you in an open relationship? Like, how come you believe in a religion, in a God and a doctrine, but you believe that other people from another religion are chosen over you? Don't you feel unchosen?
Right.
I mean, this is like a religious polygamy, right? Like, are you cheating on Jesus? Is this some sort of a religious FOMO? It doesn't make any sense. And I'm sick and tired of this whole idea about chosen people. What does it mean to be chosen? Do you have a bottle service?
Yeah.
Do you have like a VIP lounge access? Are you like in a waterfront condos and we were like back in that purgatory in our shitty like
it's great
timeshare
advertising, right?
I know.
It's really great advertising if you just say you're the chosen people. How did that term come about, I wonder?
It was in their Bible, in their Torah, but it's fine because everybody thinks they're chosen.
Everybody wants to think
that
they're
is
chosen.
the driving force of faith,
Right.
That I'm the only one in heaven and everybody's gonna go to hell.
Yeah.
But I don't understand if they're saying that they're chosen. Why the Christian Zionists believe that?
So what is a Zionist?
A Zionist, okay, there's a Zionist, they would want you to believe that a Zionist simply believe that having a national statehood for Jewish people. But that's more than that. Zionist is...
Are Zionists Jewish or are they...
No, not necessarily, because you can be Zionist and still Christian, or a Zionist or an atheist. Because many of the pros, that's why I don't say Jews, but I say pro-Zionist or pro-Israel, because because many of the people in Congress are Christians, and they just like believe in Zionism. And Zionism here, as we believe it from an Arab perspective, it is a colonial settling idea of ideology that is based on cleansing the whole group of people out of their land, and you coming into. If you want to have like a national state, that's fine, but you understand they are building it on the state of other people. You're coming in and you're doing it. And just to give you a very, very small snippet of the magnitude of what happened, 1948, 15th of May, the day that Israel declared independence. On that day, overnight, 750,000 Palestinians, 750,000 were displaced overnight. Overnight, displaced from their village, displaced from their homes, displaced from their cities. They were killing, raping, they were burning, all kinds of things. And you have documentaries where Israeli soldiers, they braggingly talk about like the atrocities that they did and the rape and the women that they raped and all of that happened.
And was that...
Yeah, so this is a perfect example.
Okay,
you see, this is 1946 Palestine. Mm-hmm. This is all Palestine with a little like Jewish spots here and there. And this is the UN partition. Suddenly, the UN gave all of that white space to Israel. So the Palestinians are like, wait a minute, that doesn't work.
But how were they lobbying? Like the UN, is the UN the group that was doing it?
But you have to understand, like UN has no power.
Okay, got it.
Who has the power? America and England. You understand that UN now, or security, America runs the world.
Right.
So America is the superpower, especially after Second World War. They are the strongest country.
Strongest they've ever been.
They just like bomb, like to drop 2 nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
So
they had women playing baseball at that
and you
time.
have even Henry Truman's like, we tried, but like we're trying to do it, but it's difficult.
But it's
so
hard.
this is, you see how it went from here to here in less than 50 years. How now the Palestinian state quote-unquote state
Started to get
have
very
become
small.
just like islands and islands and islands. And so you had 1.2 million. Now you see this little green thing?
Mm-hmm.
You have more than 5 million Palestinians living there, crushed into
crushed.
these little things.
Cramped
Gaza,
together.
which is the little strip on the side, it has 2.2 million people. And those 2.2 million people were not born in Gaza. More than 3/4 of them came from outside, but they were pushing them. So we understand this is the state now. So the
what-
basis of all of this is occupation.
I see.
That's why when they tell you, does Israel has the right to defend itself? And people say an occupying force has no right to defend itself against the people that they occupy.
Wait, say that again to me, Bassem.
So if you are an occupying force, you have no right to defend yourself, because you cannot. It's like, does the Nazi Germany has a right to defend itself against the French resistance? You can't. You went into their country,
Right.
with might and with force and with military. You occupy them. You get them. And this is why, I want to tell you, well, how come if you did October 7th, you should expect that, well, before October 7th, it's been going on and on. Every single day, a Palestinian will wake up in the morning and an Israeli soldier or Israeli settler can go into their house, burn their house, take their house, kill them, take them as hostages, put them in prison, say that they are terrorists. And a lot of people talk about the Israeli hostages. You understand, but before October 7th, there are 5,000 Palestinian hostages in prisons. 1 of every 5 Palestinian has been put in jail. You understand? So put that in perspective. America has 330 million people.
Yeah.
So
Some
imagine
people are missing. Now, how many people are missing?
300. So imagine out of those, about 65 million Americans is in jail right now. This is the reality of Palestinians. So at a certain point, if I'm talking to people who are listening to us now, you have a farm, you have a land, you have your cows, your herd, your family. Imagine for 75 years, your house has no privacy. Your family has no sanctity.
Yeah, you can't go to sleep knowing that you're going to wake up and your house will be yours in the morning.
You go in, people take them, being pushed out, they take their land. At a certain point, you have to break.
Yeah.
You have to snap.
So you're saying that what happened on October 7th is just a buildup of a long series of things. That's just a pinpoint.
And it's not new. I know a lot of people say, like, I'll give an example. 2014, exactly 10 years ago, in Gaza, 2,200 Palestinians were killed, dead. 500 children killed. There was no October 7th. You understand? There was no October 7th.
Right.
But they go in because and I gave this example to Chris Cuomo once. It's like, Israel is like, Palestine, Gaza and West Bank is like a small fishbowl. And you have the power to go into this fishbowl and you just like kick the shit out of those fish anytime you want. At a certain point, one fish will be crazy enough, suicide enough to jump from the fishbowl and bite with your pinky. That's October 7th.
Yeah.
So you're going, I'm going to destroy. It's already destroyed.
You're creating piranhas.
You understand that in just 8 months, Israel have bombed Gaza more than America has bombed Iraq for 8 years.
Wow.
In 8 months. You don't do that. You don't do that. And of course they tell you, it's collateral damage, which is crazy, right? It's like, those people that died, it's collateral damage. We really wanted to take that terrorist, but the school got in the way. I mean, the geography is very hostile. Every time we kill Hamas, they just like schools and babies come out of nowhere. It's like
I shouldn't be laughing at this.
I know. I mean, it's dark because sometimes I feel that Israel has some sort of a program called No Civilian Left Behind. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're a little kid playing soccer or a Hamas terrorist. You get a piece of the action. You understand?
It's like favored nations, kind of.
Because I, as an Arab, I have no power. I'm not powerful as the United States. I'm not powerful as Israel. So all I have to do is just like laugh at this,
right?
Because that doesn't work. So back to 1948, they displaced 750,000 people, and they continued to occupy the land every single day.
So you said that in 1948, what was that movement called? And that was just like in one day it kind of happened?
Yeah. That is the establishment of the State of Israel, 1948, 15th of May, 1948.
Okay, and so when Israel established itself, and is Israel able to establish itself by itself, or did they have to have like support from Britain and America? Or
Israel didn't establish itself over one day. I
Right.
mean, they've been doing. They were like having like pushing people into it from other countries, and actually they had a lot of support from England and from America, and I find it very interesting how that Israelis made Americans think that terrorism is something that has been invented by Arabs or Muslim. Because if you talk to anybody, terrorism, Arabs, Muslim, you know that the first terrorist attack ever in the Middle East was carried out by Israel. 1946 in July, Israel bombed King David Hotel, killing 91 British soldiers. 91. That is the first. And it was led by a Stern gang, which is Itzhak Shamir, who was later became the Prime Minister of Israel. So they have been killing people, they have been terrorizing people all through, and then they call Palestinians terrorists.
And when that one day comes, the establishment of Israel as a country, is it like a certain, at that day, is there just like a mass where everybody has to move out of this space and this is ours and
they
this is
basically
yours?
move them into, if you get back the map, they move them into the West Bank and in Gaza.
Okay.
And then in that map that we've been, you see the third one? Yeah.
Yeah.
So now all of the Palestinians are into this. 1967, we go to war with Israel. Egypt goes to war, get its ass kicked because we had Nasser messing up big time. And
In 1967, Egypt went to war?
Yeah, with and then Israel
With who? With Palestine?
With Israel.
With Israel.
And then after that, Israel could actually completely control the West Bank and in Gaza.
I see.
So now this is under. So what you could seeing all of these green marks is an occupation. And let me say it again: it's an occupation. It's a military force that is occupying people. And it is an occupation because of a land that has been disintegrated from this to this.
So you're saying that it wasn't the occupation, it was by force, it was never by like agreement.
Yeah, how can you agree to?
Well, is there a lease? Like, what does the lease say?
The what?
The lease.
The lease. There's no lease when you occupy. What did the lease say in France
like every
when
Jewish
Nazi
guy-
came in? When Nazi came in and took over your land, you have nothing to say. You have people coming in with their.
Most Jewish people I know are landlords, you know? So
Yeah.
it's like, I can't imagine they would do this without a lease.
Well, if you have an army next to you, why would you need a lease? Because
I see what you're saying.
Because till today, like you have go into the internet and find just like Israeli settlers terrorizing Palestinian farmers. Just random thing. You have like 100 videos. Happens every single day. So, and this is why I'm talking, because everybody is focused on this little strip, on the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
But people don't know what is happening in those green scattered. This is happening every single day. Every single day, people. By the way, the hostages are not 5,000 people anymore. After October 7th, it's now 12,000 people. 12,000 Palestinians in prisons. Wow. In prisons. So when you talk about hostage, and I just want to get people back October 7th, when Hamas did this, and I'm not defending Hamas. I'm not into any kind of support of any group. But they said, we will release the hostage if you release our hostages. Because you have been going into our houses and taking people. Half of the 5,000 people that I told you about, half of them are women and children. Half of them. So, and then they and I'll just give you an example because I know what will people tell you. Oh, but these are terrorists. I'll give you an example of a terrorist. Soad Zuraiqat, she is a Palestinian mother.
So you have to say it slower.
Soad Zuraiqat.
Soad Zuraiqat.
She's a Palestinian mother. Her husband was killed. And then she wrote on Facebook, "May God unite us in heaven." The Israeli authority considered that as an incitement for terrorism, and they took her and they put her in detention for 8 months. Wow. That's the kind of people that they will take you for terrorism. All right? And I'm not saying that there's violence, but put yourself in their place. Your house is being taken, your farms are being burned, your cattle is being killed, your kids are being taken in front of you, your woman, your husband, your wife may be even raped and taken away and sexually molested.
Yeah.
How long can you keep going? Because but we want peace. This is not a peace. This is subjugation.
So you're saying that over time, it's like a slow devouring of the Palestinian people is kind of what's happened.
Yeah, it is devouring. It's as you said, they devour the land. Mm-hmm. They devour their lives. They are dehumanization. And when you fight back, you're called a terrorist. Now let's go back to October 7th because this is very important.
Okay.
October 7th, Hamas which is a militant group that is living in Gaza, that has won the election in 2006, but they were never allowed to take power because Israel started bombing them.
Okay, so Hamas was actually an elected group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And when
But
they
America
ran for
and Israel-
election, what were they? Were they like?
They were running as
like
a
ru-
group. I mean, Hamas is a. They don't like the Palestinian Authority that was already there.
They didn't like them.
They didn't like it. So
Okay.
they and Israel, Netanyahu was so happy with that, and they started to give money to Hamas in order to bolster them and make them stronger. And he said in the Likud party, in his party, he said the only way to prevent a Palestinian state is to make the Palestinian factions fighting the whole time. He said that. So he
see.
created a monster.
So he saw that. So you're saying that Netanyahu, who is the president of Israel,
Yeah.
or the prime
Prime
minister,
minister, yeah.
he saw that. Okay, there's this alternative group, Hamas,
Yes.
who is causing conflict with the people who are in charge in Palestine.
yes.
And so I'm going to fund Hamas.
Yes, and Hamas was, I wouldn't say that they were moderate. They would say like, we want to eradicate Israel, whatever. And then they kind of revised their charter, but they weren't fans of each other. But
And did Israel definitely fund them?
you have Netanyahu on tape actually confessing, facilitating their support many times, and you can look it up if you want. Like, it's like what I'm trying to say is they won the election to 2006, and Israel didn't like it, and then they started bombing, and then Israel.
Who won? Hamas?
Hamas won by 51%.
Okay.
In Gaza. But then they were like infighting and it didn't work, and then Israel kind of like created even a bigger embargo, and then for the past like 20 years they've just like every time Hamas like retaliates, Israel retaliates, and they retaliate, but who has the power, who has the military might? It's Israel. At the end of the day, it's militants.
Oh yeah, Israel is a superpower.
Yeah, so you cannot just like cry, we're gonna perish because of a militant group. If we're giving you that money, that doesn't work this way. But here's what I want to talk about, which is the most important thing about October 7th, which I find there is like a big failure of the American media. When October 7th happened, everybody was talking about raping women, decapitating children, putting women in oven. Even Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State, he went into Congress and he described this scene about Hamas militants going into a house, raping the woman, blinding the father, cutting the limb of a child, cutting a finger of another child, and then cutting the chest, the breast of a woman, and playing football with it and raping it. And I said, wait a minute. How is this happening during war? Where are the Israeli Apache fighters? Where are the response? Because I understand how big is Israel. Israel is like as small as New Jersey. And in that area of New Jersey, there is you see it. It's almost
Wow,
there.
it's the same.
Yeah, almost there. Yes, a little bit. And you understand. Israel has airfields and military camps in every 5 seconds. It's like Starbucks in New York.
Yeah.
The response should be less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It took them 8 hours.
Yeah, I need a Venti missile.
Now, that testimony that I just gave you by Antony Blinken came out to be wrong.
Who's Antony Blinken?
Antony Blinken is the Secretary of State.
For Israel?
No, for America.
For America, okay.
So he went and gave that graphic detail in order to bring money, to get money to be sent to Israel. These testimonies came out to be untrue, false, fabricated, because they were promoted by rescue groups in Israel. They're called Zaka and Hezbollah United. Zaka, Z-A-K-A. Zaka is a group that has been known to be lying. They fabricated babies in oven, babies in laundry lines.
Yeah, they keep putting the babies everywhere. No matter what side you're on, it's like, the babies are here.
And yeah,
Oh,
that's
there's a
their
baby
website.
with
And
a
if you look, if you search their lies has been debunked many times by the Israeli media themselves. Israeli media artists, Channel 12, they said that these people have lied to us and they have collected so much money because of the graphic details. And you understand, these are lies that has been repeated by Biden, Antony Blinken, the State Department, in order to justify the absolute maximum killing of Israel to Palestine. So this was made on a lie.
So it's propaganda, yeah.
It's propaganda. Because, I'm not going to tell you they killed 1 million people. They raped women. They decapitated babies. That have a much more
Right, 'cause
stronger
you don't-
effect. Because what a baby could do to you.
Baby could do nothing.
And then
Climb up your leg a little.
you decapitate him. You must be a monster. So now these are monster death cult worshippers that we can kill and we can bomb everybody. You see that?
So it's a perspective. You're like framing it.
And-
So you're saying, but who's doing that? The Israeli media?
Yeah, the Israeli media. Because all of the, and not just the Israeli, the American media have propagated these stories and they have never taken back or refuted a single story.
Oh, American media is
even
not good.
And what would be, what made me like go crazy? The Israeli they made us like, guys, this didn't happen. So this is like the strongest bro code I've ever seen in my life. It's like you're lying for your bro, and your bro's like, dude, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. So America is lying hard for Israel. While Israel itself, the Israeli media say like, guys, that didn't happen. Yeah. All of these lies didn't happen. The New York Times article screams without words was debunked to be lies. There was so many people, lies. No decapitated babies were found. Only one baby was killed. Her name is Mila Cohen. She's 10 months old and she was died during an exchange. No decapitated babies. No rape women. Sheryl Sandberg and New York Times have spread all of these lies and they were debunked many, many times. And still the American media are running with the lies.
But a lot of American media is...
If you say that would be anti-Semitic. So I'm not going to go there. Right?
Oh, is that anti-Semitic?
They're telling me everything that I say now is anti-Semitic.
I didn't know that.
But I'm saying that even the Jewish people in Israel telling you these are lies.
Well, my Jewish friends who, they say that the media is mostly run by Jewish folks. I don't think that's...
It is.
They told me that.
It is. All of the corporates, all of the CEOs, but that's a different... But I don't want to go into their intention. I'm just giving you a case that it
Look,
didn't
we
have...
can't say that, though?
Well, according to a bill that was passed by the Congress 2 months ago, there's now an anti-Semitic bill that any criticism to Israel will be counted as anti-Semitic. Any criticism to Jewish people who might have a dual loyalty to Israel and America, if you attack them, that will be called anti-Semitic. If you talk about AIPAC controlling the elections and giving money, that's anti-Semitic. And it's like, wait a minute, that's against the First Amendment of the United States. Because I have grown up seeing people shitting on everything, on the American president, on religion, on Jesus Christ,
gays, whites, blacks,
Jesus, whites, Muslims.
Jesus,
but
Santa.
But suddenly when you talk about Israel, which is a foreign country that we give aid, you can't speak. You can't talk about you're labeled anti-Semitic. Why?
Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, some of it's like, well, we had. Roseanne Barr on, she's Jewish. She said something. She made a joke, and our episode got taken down. But it was obviously like a joke, like. So some of it's just confusing because here's the thing: I don't understand. Like, just say if you can't say. If we're not allowed to say something, at least tell us what it is.
No, we're not. They always keep you in this kind of fear of saying something wrong. And they have all of you're anti-Semitic, Like, guys, like, you have to stop this anti-Semitic because...
Well, it becomes this boy that cried wolf kind of thing where it's like you accuse everybody of anti-Semitic. It's like, dude, I have so many Jewish friends. You think I'd be... I don't like Netanyahu. I don't like some of the choices that I feel like that country makes, but I don't... I don't have anything against my Jewish friends, though.
That's why I'm very careful when I talk. I never say Jewish people. I say pro-Zionist, Zionist, Israel, pro-Israel.
Oh, shit,
I never
said
talk.
Jewish people a few minutes ago.
No. I don't say about Israel because I know that a lot of Jewish people don't like what Israel is doing. I know a lot of Jewish people don't like how they control the Congress. I don't like how a lot of Jewish people that don't like how AIPAC, which is a foreign lobby, and yet is allowed to operate under American local law, that they can openly brag about buying Congress seats. If you go into AIPAC a Twitter account or X account, they would brag about like how 98% of our candidates...
Do not accept all cookies if you go over there.
Yeah. Like go to their... not network, AIPAC. Just, AIPAC.
It's AIPAC.
AI. Yes.
And AIPAC...
No, not tracker. Yeah, AIPAC. Yeah, that's one. Yes.
And what is AIPAC?
American Israel Public Affairs Committee.
Yeah, public affairs. Yeah, public affairs. So go down, and see what they talk about the elections. When they talk about the elections, they always talk about like they end it with, another great being pro-Israel is good policy and good politics. They end that with every 100% of AIPAC endorsed Democrats won their primary rate. 150. How is like a foreign country? Like a foreign, and a lobby that works for a foreign country brags about buying your elections like that.
It is.
You see, being pro-Israel is good policy. And they end every single tweet is like that. They are basically looking to you in the eyes and say, like, we're buying your elections, and you can't do anything about it. So I can accept that from NRA, because the NRA is a domestic group, right? At least it represents the interest of American gun owners. Oh, this is a very
I just saw this guy
Mr.
recently.
Massey, who said like each one in Capitol Hill has an AIPAC handler. It's like, I need to talk to my guy.
Everybody but me has an AIPAC person.
What does that mean, an AIPAC person?
It's like your babysitter, your AIPAC babysitter, who is always talking to you for AIPAC.
It's just kind of like having an agent or whatever.
Yeah, but like a handler. Go ahead, continue. And I don't understand why every American politician have to go there and bend the knees.
You go have lunch with them, and they've got your cell number, and you have conversations with them.
Well, I think part of
I'll
this.
talk to my AIPAC person, and it's literally what we call them, my AIPAC guy. I'll talk to my AIPAC guy and see if I can get him to, dial those ads back. Group of Americans who lobby on behalf of Israel. They're for anything.
But I think also it's like you have to look at it as like we live in a country that is a capitalism, right?
Absolutely.
And they are like Israel just does they're the best business people, They're like it's almost like monopoly and they won.
Okay.
That's what I feel like sometimes like
yeah, they won and good for them. They're very good, but like how does an American feels?
Right, but you can't hold it against them because they are good at this. You can't hold it against them because they won, right?
So you cannot hold it against Israel, but you hold it against Russia if they try, or China if they try. So why do we accept it from Israel, but not from
Except
Russia?
what?
Except them controlling the elections. You understand? So you have an AIPAC, which is a lobby, basically lobbying for another country. This is in the news, and you can look it up. They paid $100 million in order to buy seats for Congress people and Senate. And because of the people they were able to put there, they were able to approve $26 billion to Israel. So understand, as an American, your politicians are being bought for $100 million, and because of that, your country will send 26 billion to a different country. Yeah. 26 billion that could have been spent in my own country, in my own community. This is the best return of investment ever. You pay 100 million and I take back 26 billion from you. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And this is why when I talk about what's happening is I'm not even, you see, like, you've missed that. The what you just had, AIPAC targets progressive with $100 million in its coffers.
Yeah.
So basically anybody who talks against you in Congress, you pay them out, and then you take more money. Don't we as Americans deserve the $26 billion to be put
100%.
in our communities?
Oh, I think it's like
this is we give them money, but they control us.
Yeah.
This is like
it's fucking they're good at the business, dude.
This is like a sugar daddy who's being slapped around like a bitch from his sugar baby. This is like there's like basically picking up like a whore in the strip mall in the strip in Las Vegas, and then suddenly she's in charge of your life. Yeah. This is like having a dominatrix and so like I'm gonna kick your balls and you're gonna like it, and you're gonna pay me $26 billion for it. It's like that doesn't work because I come from the Middle East and I'm used to dictatorship. I am used for us having no voice. I'm used to a certain class of people controlling the country. But even then, we knew that these people were not in control because they had to answer for China or Russia or America or France, right?
Yeah.
Because we're a dictatorship. This is how dictatorship works. a democracy loving country like America or Britain go control a certain country, and it's easier for them to deal with a dictator. So we knew that they were not calling the shots. It was called from Washington. I'm fine with that because I'm a third world country. We're from the Middle East. We have to follow the masters of this planet. Now, I came to America and I became an American. I thought I was joining the winning team.
Yeah.
I will have a say in my country. And then suddenly my country, the most powerful country in the world, the superpower in the world, has its policies being dictated from Tel Aviv. How does it work? You see? And it's fine. And I ask Americans, guys, are you used to this? Is this kind of humiliation? You're supposed to be like the from a country for the people, by the people, and then suddenly your elections and being dictated by a different country. How does it work?
But to me, the thing is just like making it. Is it true or not? It's like just tell me what's happening.
I just told you.
Right.
So whatever I just told you that like a foreign lobby from a foreign country is controlling your politics right in front of you, and then you have and by the way, I understand how lobby works, but remember when Democrats was giving shit to Republicans because they're having so much money from NRA. Right? Mm-hmm. Oh, you're taking money from the gun lobby. How dare you? And then the Republicans were attacked there. You're taking money from tech. Israel is the only country that gives both sides and nobody questions. So basically, it's not caring about the education will not get you elected. Caring about healthcare will not get you elected. Caring about the well-being of your American constituents will not get you elected. It is caring about what's good for Israel. So yes, guys, our neighborhood is shit. We have no sewage, no education, but God bless Israel. It doesn't. You're basically having a lot of people elected for your Congress. Yeah. To look for a different country, look out for a different country.
To me, it does seem very bizarre. Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff, like when it hits my heart over the past, like especially 8 months, it makes me feel like there has to be a way better way to figure things out.
It's all about like fear mongering. They will tell you, but Israel is alone. It is surrounded by enemies that want to wipe us.
Is that true or not? Is Israel surrounded by enemies or not?
Bring the map of the Middle East.
Because one of the reasons I'm sure America and Israel have work together is because they need each other, right?
Okay, so Egypt is surrounded by Egypt. Egypt is the biggest military force in the Middle East. That's my country.
Okay.
And they having like a 45 years lasting peace treaty. There has never been a single missile or bullet shot from Israel, from Palestine, from Egypt to Israel, all over that.
So Egypt and Israel have a good...
Yeah, Jordan is the other country, peace. UAE, peace. Do you have the big threat for Israel is the little militant group in the Gaza Strip, which is Hamas, and Hezbollah, which is south of Lebanon.
Oh,
and if you have all of that military might,
Hezbollah
and
that?
it's up there, like you see the gray area, like in Lebanon.
Is that where he lives at?
So basically, you have like two militant groups who doesn't like you. Right, supported by Iran, which is far away from you, and you have all of these Arab countries around you, basically friends with you. Yeah. So all of they want to kill us all. We're gonna perish. Oh fuck you! All of this. You see, Saudi Arabia, they have like almost normalized relationship. UAE, one of the countries.
So you don't believe that? You believe that they have? It's pretty stable over there.
It is a way to push in war and make you, because if you're not threatened, how can you sell the war?
Yeah.
And if you talk about October 7th, see what they want to be. You believe that before October 7th there were peace. Actually, before October 7th, 2 weeks before October 7th, Israel bombed Gaza 3 times. Before October 7th, Israel already killed 75 children in the West Bank in the same year. All of these numbers were happening. All of this ongoing. There was no peace before October 7th. And you go in with these lies that has never been refuted by the American media, although it was found to be lies and lies and lies. And you do that because you want to tell people we're dealing with terrorists. All of the Arab countries hate us and we have to kill us. And then they will bring in the Holocaust. I'm very sorry for the Holocaust, guys, but we had nothing to do with your Holocaust. We were just like minding our fucking business.
I was dead or whatever. I wasn't dead. I wasn't alive.
We were in the Middle East. We were just there. And the Holocaust happened to you in Europe. It didn't happen to you because of us. And then you import people from a different continent because you didn't want them. You didn't give them visa. You didn't take them as refugees. And then
America and Britain, you mean?
Yeah. And then you put them on our land, and then you take our land, and then you tell everybody, oh, there was no one there.
So has America showed up, or Britain showed up and tried to help facilitate communications to make things better there?
There were many tries for peace treaties. But Obama said it best. In his book, he said, the problem with Israel and Palestine is that one of them is very strong and one side is very weak.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that compels me to give you land. So they will tell you, oh, we gave 5 chances to the Palestinians, and they said no. That is not true. When I have the whole land and suddenly you're going to give me 49%, that is not a deal. That's like, if you don't like it, we're going to take it from you. If you give me like a shitty deal and I don't accept it because that is my land, you just going to say like, oh, they didn't accept it.
Right. So, but have there been deals offered one way or the other, like peace? Like,
Yeah, like there's something called the Oslo Accords. It's happened in 1995.
the Oslo Accords?
The Oslo Accords. And you have Netanyahu bragging on tape saying that I have personally sabotaged the Oslo Accords, so it means nothing.
Okay, the Oslo Accords are a pair of interim agreements between Israel and Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, signed in Washington, D.C. in 1993, signed in Egypt in 1995. They marked the start of the Oslo process, a peace process aimed at achieving a peace treaty based on resolutions of the United Nations Security Council. Among the notable outcomes, Oslo Accords were the creation of the Palestinian National Authority, which was tasked with the responsibility of conducting limited Palestinian governance over parts of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. So this was helping Palestine create a government?
Yes, but then it was all over the way. It's now clear the Oslo Peace Accords were wrecked by Netanyahu, and that was written by Avi Shlaim, who's an Israeli author.
Right. Because there's people in Israel that don't agree with Netanyahu, right?
Yes, I know, but honestly, I'm sick and tired of saying, oh, Netanyahu is bad, but the rest of Israel, no. 98% of Israeli community said that we're not doing enough in Gaza. Only 2% says it's too much. 70% of Israelis said that we should not send humanitarian aid to Gaza. A lot of people, and I don't blame, I mean, I blame them, but like when you tell your people that those are like evils and they're like vampires and they're like killers, of course you're going to hate them. Of course you don't want them to live.
Yeah.
But you cannot expect to treat people like animals, and when they behave like animals, retaliate like animals, you go on and complain.
Yeah.
Right?
How do you, is there a way, because man, it's just, there's so much damage done there.
Yeah.
How do you find, how is there some sort of a solution? Like what direction do you see?
The solution is fixing the occupation. There is an occupation. That is the
And
thing.
why doesn't America and Britain step in and say, look, we helped create this in the beginning. We want to be here to help us establish safety for these people now.
Okay, America. What is America made of? Government. What is the government is made of? Elected officials. These people are elected through what? Through elections. Who's controlling the elections and paying for certain people to be there? AIPAC.
But do we know? But doesn't every country have lobbyists that try to like influence our elections?
Not a foreign lobby like this. Yeah, there's lobbies everywhere. But when you have a foreign lobby that works for an external country, that is not normal, Theo.
But is that considered just like a you know how we have like little base or little what are the places called if you're in London? The embassy. Like we have embassies in different places.
Yes.
Isn't that just like them having like a human embassy or something like a?
No.
You know what I'm talking about? Kind of.
I understand, but like that doesn't work with lobbies with parliaments, and this is like imagine a lobby that is openly funded by China, and that lobby going there and buying seats for people who are pro-China.
It seemed like unfair.
It should not be accepted in a democratic country.
Why do we allow that to happen? It would seem like, well, but then you know what? That's where it comes down to capitalism, because it's the same shit that we allow where, just like where that drug company came in and hired former people from the FDA to come and work for their drug company.
That's wrong. That's illegal.
Right.
And also the government. I mean, capitalism wants you to believe that there's nothing you can do. It's only the free market. Even the free market has some sort of a government control. If a company goes out and become a monopoly, you have antitrust laws, and the government can curb that company.
Yeah.
But the problem is the government that should curb the influence of a foreign lobby is being paid by the same foreign lobby. So who would come up and put like a questioning for Israel lobby? The people they just paid get into Congress. I paid you.
Yeah.
I own your ass. You are not going to go into Congress and then ask, why are we following? So
Israel's a gangster, dog.
Exactly. This is what really made me disenfranchised. I became an American citizen in 2019, and I was so right in time for the 2020 elections. I was so happy. I'm going to be elected. It took me now 4 years. I'm not gonna vote in the coming elections. What's the point? It's like, what about America, man? What America? It's like, so now why would I even care to vote for anybody while both of them are competing to be Israel's favorite bitch?
Yeah.
It's basically like this. It's like, oh, I'm the best one for Israel. How about being the best one for America? How about doing what's good for America? Is it good for America to pay $26 billion? If I'm seeing this, how do I feel as an American?
Well, I think it's, for one, I think a lot of people don't know what to think. A lot of people aren't super clear on maybe what's going on, you know?
Because they're not allowed to, because they are being, all they need to know is like to see the headlines of the news. And the headlines of the news is always something bad about Palestinians or something bad about, nothing is bad. They don't spend enough time because they want their ESPNs and they need their Netflix. They don't want to involve in things. That's why a lot of Americans are still believing in the raping and the decapitated babies, because you can't stay tuned into the news for long. So for them, they do the shock,
right,
the lies, and then when people say, wait a minute, that didn't happen. It's like, it's too late now, because people are they're tuned out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do not even believe the news at all anymore, though. I think the news has super lost a ton of credibility over the years.
So what happens? You create a kind of apathy. So people don't care, and business go as usual. The Congress getting bought, people getting bribed, $26 billion getting sent to Israel. People continue having bombing, and then every now and then, why is this happening? Because you checked out a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then you ask, what can we do? Nothing, because they made you check out a long time ago. So you have all of these people looking at what the government's doing, looking at what the world is doing. It's like, that ain't right, but there's nothing I can do about it. And this is exactly how you run the world. In my country, in the Middle East, I do that because you cannot speak up because you're going to be put in jail. But here, you can speak up, but nothing will happen. Nothing will change.
Here, I think sometimes you get afraid to even ask questions about stuff, and it's like, well, this doesn't even make any sense. Like, just at least let things make sense to me. For me, not be able to ask questions and shit is just fucking. That's the thing that's really, really weird.
Yes. Because it's all about like the attacking. So if you to go and you repeat what I just told you, it's like, oh, Bassem Youssef, he's a liar. He's an anti-Semite. He hates Jews. Okay, what did he lie about? They will never give you details. What did he lie about? I'll give you an example. On the second Piers Morgan interview, I went up to him and I gave him a story. I told him that Israel used to give contraceptive pills to the Ethiopian Jews, Ethiopian Jewish women who were immigrated from Ethiopia, and for more than 15 years, Israel would give them contraceptive shots without them knowing, so they would sterilize them. They would not allow them to breed because they are black.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Dude, you know what I noticed, dude? I was in Atlanta at the Coca-Cola factory or whatever. Yeah. And you can taste all the sodas from around the world.
Look.
Ethiopian women in Israel giving contraceptive without consent, huh?
Yeah. So
Israel's lead.
So when Benjamin Netanyahu was in the government and he came out and he personally apologized, right? So this is cut and dry. You cannot. And you know what happened? The Israelis on the X. Oh, he's a liar. That never happens. It's here. So I'm just preparing you that every time you're gonna tell them something, they will tell you, "Oh, it's a lie. It's a lie. Nobody said that. Nobody said that."
Well, a lot of that's just like, people will position themselves constantly. It's like people are, especially if people are up to no good, nobody wants to get caught.
Yes.
A lot of times.
It's like you saying something and somebody, you're a racist. It's like, wait, what did I just said that was racist? Oh, no, you're racist. You're making me uncomfortable. You see that the way that they attack you?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, attack what I said.
Yeah. If I'm racist, dude, I do it at home, behind closed doors.
But this, you're anti-Semitic, you're racist, you're a homophobe. The way that they use, like the same way, you're Islamophobe. I don't like this word, Islamophobe. I
don't know if anybody cares about that shit anymore, though.
Nobody cares.
Well, people have thrown around some of those terms so many times. It's like the boy that cried wolf kind of in a way. It's like, you can't make it feel like I can't ask something or talk about something. Yeah, it just sometimes some of that stuff is strange. And it's hard. I mean, some of this stuff is even hard to talk about because it's like, I worry that even just by having like some of this conversation, it's like, it's kind of scary because I don't know what I could get in trouble for.
But this is scary, man, because like I'm new to this country, so like I'm kind of like following your lead, guys, and I'm saying like, wait, isn't this country created on the cornerstone of freedom of expression? Why is there some things that we are not allowed to speak about or afraid? This is the promise of the West. Come here and speak and say whatever you want, no matter how offensive it is. It doesn't matter because it is words. But then suddenly you come here and you find all of these red lines. Yeah. And I was made fun of, like when I came, oh, you came from the Middle East, you have all of these red lines. You cannot speak about that. We can speak about Jesus. We can speak about the American president. You can speak. And now I come here and I see the red line. You have one red line.
Really?
And you have one red line. Everybody here, not you. Then that red line, everybody can see, you guys cannot be able to talk about, which is Israel. This is your red line. Your red line is not even in your country.
Yeah. That's
which
crazy.
Is crazy.
That's a crazy statement.
It's a crazy.
Dude, I'll tell you what I heard, dude. I heard that Jesus did like a lot of impersonations and stuff.
But did he impersonate his dad?
Just his friends and stuff. Yeah. But I heard that somewhere. I don't know where I read that, but he would do like impersonations, I guess, or whatever.
But he would be like the Archangel Michael. And it's like, hey, so Archangel Slide is like, hey, Jesus, hey, Jesus. But he's
so
like,
an archangel walks into a cloud.
I know, but okay, I'll tell you something about like things that people find offensive. For example, we were basically profiled as Muslims that we hate.
Slims, we call them.
Yeah, Slims.
Yeah.
What weird.
I made that up a couple years ago. It's like
Slim.
I don't want to say it's a racial slur, but if it is, you're welcome.
Slims? It's like the Slims, the cigarettes?
It's kind of like this, whenever we
is
say
it because
Muslims,
like we smoke hookahs?
We say Slims. I think I really like it. Some people might not like it, and that's okay. And
I one thing that kind of like drives me crazy sometimes, like, we like Israel, but we don't like Muslims. Like, why? And then politics like, because Judeo-Christian values. Have you heard about that? Judeo-Christian values. Like, guys, what do you talk about Judeo-Christian values? You understand that people in Israel hate Christians. You understand that? You go
that's
right now.
That's not true, you think?
You go right now in the video and you write Israelis spitting on Christians in Bethlehem, or spitting on Israel on Christians in Israel. You see, spitting, hitting attacks on Israel, and surging in Israel. Occupied Jerusalem, ultra-Jewish, spitting on Christians.
But this could be specific stuff.
No, this is part. Okay, so
you know what I'm saying? This might not be an everyday thing because I have a lot of friends that are Jewish, and
there's like so many videos. It's just like the videos keep scrolling as we say. That's not that very. You see how many videos right now we're talking? The videos keep scrolling. So that's not everything, but we happen to have 100 videos to say that that's true.
It says there's only 2,000 videos.
Oh, okay. Okay, and you have actually one of their ministers, Ben Gavir, who is the basic national security. As I said, it is actually part of our religion. There's no hate about that. And many of their rabbis would say that Jesus right now, Jesus is the son of a whore. The Virgin Mary is a whore. She made up the whole thing about the Son of God in order to cover for her adultery. And Jesus right now is being burned with feces and semen for eternity. This is what they say. So basically, I don't know if you follow this trend.
That.
No, yeah, you can find
and
it.
This
out.
is a trend on TikTok?
No, not a trend. These videos are already there. So basically, when Christians go there, the Orthodox Jews will go Haktua. They go Haktua. They spit on that thing.
Damn, right. Wow.
So, and I'm not saying that this represents all Jews.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you want nitpick about this stuff, because I grew up as a Muslim, and all of those videos nitpicking of like, oh, look at this extreme Muslim who said that. Oh, this must be all Muslim are terrorists. And you have a lot of those videos on us and nobody's talking about it. So you understand like how this is personal for me?
Yeah.
And I'm fine talking about those horrible people in the Muslim community, but talk about everybody.
Right.
Don't limit our speech. And by the way, and I hate the word Islamophobe. anybody is allowed to talk about Islam or the Quran or whatever. I will never call you an Islamophobe. But I'm an equal opportunity offender. If you talk about my religion, let's talk about everybody's religion.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to talk about my politics, let's talk about everybody's politics.
Yeah.
I'm not here to attack Jewish people. I'm not here to attack Israel. I am just asking for my right as an American to be able to speak about everything without having fear of being canceled or having my career canceled. I had opportunities. My opportunities in Hollywood dried up completely after I talked up.
Is that true?
Yes.
Do you think it's tougher for Arabic and Islamic entertainers in Hollywood?
Oh, it is tougher, but there's also people who are not Muslims, who are not Arabs, who had cancelled because of their opinions. There have been blacklists of people in tech companies that have been removed from their companies because of a post of Facebook, and this is happening in America. And of course, you remember what happened in these colleges where like American students were being beaten by American police for the sake of a foreign country. You understand, like the American university movement, which one of the most amazing movements, that they went out against Vietnam, they went out against South Africa, and now they went out against Israel, and they're being hit and penalized in their own campuses for just speaking up.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they should be able to do that at campuses, but then what happens is investors or donators to the campuses who believe what they believe, they choose to take their money away. You know,
and,
I think
and those donors are pro what?
they're pro money.
So if you write, please, Jewish billionaires threaten Columbia universities to withdraw their
never
money.
gonna fucking work again.
Dude, I came here having receipts.
I know, but I'm gonna get in
Pro-Israel
trouble,
Jewish
dude.
billionaires look, there it is. Billionaires stop Columbia cash over anti-Israel protests. Columbia billionaires doors are giving a so you see. What
But-
does it?
but
so
still,
so
that
your
makes-
donors, the donors have more loyalty to a foreign country and telling you, if you speak against that foreign country, I'm not giving you my money.
But it makes sense though that you that makes sense if you
Okay.
think that you say you're a like I'm a New Orleans Saints fan. If somebody puts up a Falcons flag, an Atlanta Falcons flag, and I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, and it's my bar or something, or I'm the one that helps take care of the place where they're putting the flag up, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to say, well, I'm not going to help take care of this place anymore if you support this.
But the Falcon and Minnesota, these are two people in the league, in an American league. But you are basically talking about a different. I'm not even attacking
Right.
your team.
And I made a bad choice.
I'm saying that I don't want my college to take part from. Understand why they went? They said, like, we need to divest from any investment with the Israeli army. Is that fair or not? That's fair. Like, I don't want my universities, the universities that I pay tuition to be involved with the military
And
or
supporting
the Israel. That's fair. And then you have Bunor. No, we need to be involved in other people's shit, and you need not to speak about that. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense to me, man.
Well, why don't why don't different groups start to build their own strongholds of like university and like media so that everybody can have their own channels?
Most Arabs work in vaping. I don't know that there's not for money in the Arab community.
Hey, smoke signals.
we just said that like Jewish people are very good in business. We can't compete with that. We just have hookahs and vapes. We can't compete with them. So, but like, you see, if that is the case, don't call it a democracy anymore. If the whole idea about like who pays the more money, it's an oligarchy.
Yeah,
Don't
I
call
agree.
yourself democratic. Just say, hey, it's a capitalist country. Whoever has more money, but that's dangerous because tomorrow China might have more money here and control it. So it has to be a fair game for everybody. But it's not fair because now they say TikTok. We need to ban TikTok because it's against Israel because it's pro-China. So you're not even making the game fair. If Israel can buy its way through it, anybody should buy the way through it.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying, well, then if that's the case, then China should be able to do it too.
And Saudi Arabia is able to do it, and Iran
But I
is
think
able to do it.
Israel's an ally. I guess like
Why is Israel an ally?
I don't know why.
And which ally have you given $26 billion
I don't know, dude.
You see, but here's the thing: we're repeating that. Oh, Israel is our greatest ally. Why?
I don't know, but you have to have. Well, here's why. I believe this is what I've always been kind of like, I guess, heard is that you have to have an ally in the Middle East because there's so much oil and power and money over there.
America doesn't have allies in the. What about Saudi Arabia, the biggest oil producing company in the world? Iraq, Egypt, UAE, all of Kuwait. All of these are allies for the United States.
I don't know if Saudi Arabia is an ally. I don't know
really?
about that.
Saudi Arabia is the most beneficial for your economy.
Really?
They are the biggest buyer of your
Except for
weapons.
those 2 buildings in New York City, dude. Outside of that, though, you know what I'm saying?
Well, so why didn't you go after them?
Because I guess somebody owed somebody some money or something.
No, let's talk about 9/11 now because it's a bigger issue. We're going to go really down the rabbit hole. But here's the thing: you have all of those people, their allies. What has Israel done to you being an ally? It has ruined your reputation in front of everybody. Hates America because of Israel.
I don't know if that's true. You think so?
Yeah. Everybody hates America because of Israel. I'm telling you. It's and that's why they hate America because what Israel is doing in Palestine, and how America is supporting Israel forever. And if you find America supporting the killing of my own people, you can't help but people hate you, right? At a certain point, I don't think that Israel is a good ally for us. They are costing us a lot of money. They are harboring a lot of terrorists. The Jewish Defense League, there are 3 people from the Jewish Defense League in 1994 who killed an American citizen and they escaped to Israel, and Israel is not delivering you. Is that a work of an ally? Israel hit the USS Liberty in 1967. It's an American vessel. Is that an American? No. As there's a book called By Way of Deception by Viktor Ostrofinsky, who was an ex-Mossad officer who said that Israel knew about the 1982 Lebanon bombing, where 52 Americans were killed, and Mossad held the information. So because they want to do it in spite. Is that the work of an ally? Israel has it harbors the biggest number of pedophiles in Israel. More than 50 people, at least from 2014, by the Jewish Watch community. This is actually a Jewish group who have actually said that. So you have people who are molesting American children in America, and they're escaping to Israel using the dual nationality thing, and Israel is not giving you back. Wow. Is that the work of an ally? If
somebody's a molester, you got to send them back.
It's on CBS News if you want to look at. Oh. Like CBS News, you can. You
don't like Israel, I think.
I don't like Israel. No, I do not like it. I think their ways are evil, and you see how Jewish American pedophiles hide from justice in Israel. That's CBS. I'm not making this up.
A lot of them too would hide by the would hide.
So is this
Winn-Dixie in our
is
area.
this a work of an ally? Is an ally giving you $100 million to bribe your politicians, buy your elections, and then make you pay $26 billion? That's not a work of an ally. If someone takes $70 million of tax-exempt money for their veterans, that's not a work of an ally.
But how many issues did America create for itself just with its own practices of like doing this, like doing those sorts of things to other countries and stuff? I wonder. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder if there's a part of, if that's true. I don't know. I
mean, America has known to finance and carry out coups in all kind of different countries. In Latin America, they're known to overthrowing a government if they don't like. For example, it happened in Chile. It happened in Argentina. It happens in so many places. It happened in Iraq in 1954. There was like an elected official that they thrown out because of oil agreements. America is known to manipulate the whole world. That's what superpowers do.
Right. So if
the Romans did it, the Greeks came. I accept that because you're the police of the planet. Yes, it happened. It comes with a cost. It's terrible.
But couldn't that evolve and then Israel could just become that?
What do you mean?
Like if we were the leader at one time, couldn't Israel be the leader at one time?
Why?
Couldn't China be the leader at one time?
Well, China I can accept because it's a superpower. But Israel is a client state. It's a small state. This is like basically you working in a corporate and the CEO coming every day and shitting on your office. It's like, what? He's the CEO, he's the owner. But then he brings his little poodle and then he shits on your desk. That's too much. That's Israel. Right? I can accept it because you are the superpower of the world, but don't bring your brat dog to do it on my desk. That's too much. Yeah. Because the only way that I can do anything for that dog is that the owner is the CEO. and I don't want to be fired. So that's basically Israel is the bulldog that harassing everybody around it in the region, and they all they hate us. Where are we gonna perish? Fuck it, you're not gonna perish. You have nuclear weapons. You have
Yeah, they're fine.
They're fine.
It definitely gets kind of warm.
They're fine. And then how is it self-defense? Because I'm sure that you've seen these videos. All of these IDF soldiers wearing women lingerie, taking like the women's the kids' toys, destroying empty hospitals, destroying empty schools just for the fun of it. That doesn't look like an army that is defending itself.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's felt like the feeling of it is that, like usually when you hear, I mean, I've said this before, usually when you hear like free a place, that's the place that needs help, you know? It's like you don't hear like free Michigan or free America or free China, you know, or sometimes you hear free China.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you hear free Palestine, if you hear that, then that's usually, if something becomes that big of a fervor that's the campaign slogan, that place usually needs some sort of help.
Yeah.
How does some place that's stronger, like Israel, that has so much, how do they help? How do we get to
why would they help? They just want the land.
But they
remember the map that we saw how they this has been ongoing from 1940s.
But they obviously have enough of the land.
No, they want the whole land. They want all of the West Bank. They want all of Gaza, and they have said many times on television the only way this would happen if people in Gaza go into Egypt and people in the West Bank are driven into Jordan.
Is this a legitimate map? Did you draw this map?
It's from the internet, but they have been telling you openly we're gonna displace those.
But at a
people
certain
outside.
point, they have to recognize, hey, we haven't. This is
They don't care. They haven't. Why would
well,
they?
that's the part to me that's not cool.
Show me in this map anywhere where Israel has scaled back. What they have done, they have moved forward to disintegrate the land more, push the people more, abuse the people more, and because they have the power and because they have America behind them, they are not compelled to do anything different.
Well, they feel like they're in the right.
Yes, they feel in the right because
Why don't
it's given. The Bible gave it to me because God gave it to me. So if I believe I'm the chosen people, I can do whatever I want.
Oh yeah.
And I have to tell you, like a lot of people ask me, Bassem, are you religious? I said, like, if these are God chosen people, I have doubts.
I'm gonna lose my job for another 2 more years for laughing at all. But do you think though that why doesn't America help Palestine? Why don't we?
Why? Because they help. I just told you. What is America? America is a government. This government is made of officials. These officials are elected. They need money for the elections. Who pays for election campaigns? Who's the biggest?
But even still, you could still help someone because they need help.
No, they don't care. Who's the biggest recipient of donors from Israel? $9 million over the years. Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, yeah.
Yeah. So why would he help? Why would I help Palestine while I'm getting my money from you? I mean, he can give me all kind of like fancy political talk, but it's really about being reelected. So the idea, you are thinking as a human being, what is the right thing to do? And you're right. But the right thing to do is not the right thing in politics. The right thing in politics is to survive and have as much money as possible to stay in power as long as possible. No morals, no right and wrong, nothing. Just power.
Well, one thing that didn't help by having the term "free Palestine," that's going to attract all the. But if you label something "free" something right next to Israel, dude, no wonder they keep coming. They should have said a very expensive Palestine.
It's a very expensive Palestine, but it is expensive. It's costing us a lot of money.
They should have said under contract Palestine.
Work in progress Palestine.
Now, is that a joke? Am I going to go to jail? I don't know.
Why would you go into? You shouldn't.
I understand that, but why do I feel like
exactly?
I might?
Why do you feel that, Theo? You are an outspoken person. You speak about anything. You go on stage and you have no boundaries. When people in America start to have boundaries about a certain issue, we need to ask questions. Why?
Oh, I get it.
Why? And also, it's just like it's crazy. And it's just like it's maybe it's my disappointment because I bet everything on this country. I really love living here, being here, and the only thing that I was promised, which is freedom, it seems not to work. And I'm someone who's been canceled a few times from my own country. So I come here, it's like, hey, America, freedom. It's like, oh, freedom about everything except that one thing. Come on, do it. What kind of freedom is that? Maybe I should have like I don't know, went to Tel Aviv instead.
Well, I think it behooves everybody if you can joke about everything. I think that
Exactly.
makes things
Exactly.
a lot more chill. How do you handle like not agreeing with Israel but still supporting like your Jewish friends and stuff that are in America?
I don't think that's a difficult choice, because the Jewish people, here's the thing, they want you to make you think that all Jewish people are with Israel. That is not true. A lot of Jewish people do not agree with that. So they
Oh yeah, I have a lot of Jewish friends that are on
you have
kind of both sides of this thing.
You have you have a Jewish bloc that every single week that goes out in Europe and in America. And remember when we talk about those university encampments? Many of them, there was like a Jewish bloc that was part, and many of them were even arrested with their Arab and American brothers. But they don't want to talk to you about that. You can find many pictures for Orthodox Jews burning the Israeli flag. Orthodox Jews in New York.
OJs, yeah.
Yeah, OJs. They do not represent us, but they don't want you to see that. They want you to see one thing.
How do you get?
Hear this. All of those Jewish people, they don't like what is it.
Show that, dude. We're going to.
Why not?
Jail,
but wait. Okay, how many pictures of burned American flag have you seen?
I don't look at those either.
No.
Not at night
But
anyway.
listen, if you have a picture now burning the American flag or the Iranian flag,
Oh, you
or the
can't even
British-
go to jail for it anymore.
No, you don't, but like is Israeli flag? Why? I'm not inviting people to hate on Israel. I'm not inviting people to hate on Jewish people.
agreed.
I just want to say you need to have the freedom to speak your mind, even if it doesn't please certain people, because this is democracy. Democracy is noisy, and you will listen to things that you don't like, but you should not feel afraid of speaking up your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the part where I even started to think about it was it just started to seem like, obviously what happened on October 7th was horrible, but then it just started to seem like such a overstatement of
Yeah, it was like, we have to kill Hamas, but it's just...
and then they just won't exist. And so I don't know. There's something inside of me, even if I don't know anything about it, there's something inside of me that just says this just feels messed up.
I like the fact that they say like, oh, we're doing this for Palestinians. We need them. We will get rid of Hamas for them, and the Palestinians will be grateful. And then I see the destructions. I see that there's a lot of Palestinians who don't like Hamas. But you wanna convince me that you want to destroy that place, and then you think those people that would be left would be okay with you?
Do you think the Palestinian people knew that Hamas was going to do this October 7th?
I don't think they knew, and of course it's devastating for them. And but and I wish the October 7th never happened. But again, we come back. It's like, how long can you take it? How long can you take the abuse, the land theft, the killing? At a certain point, you're going to be desperate, and you're going to be desperate against a very much more stronger enemy.
Yeah,
but when America revolted for tea, they revolted against a much stronger enemy. And I find it very interesting how everything in the American culture, you watch Star Wars, you side with the rebels. You watch the Hunger Games, you side with the rebels. You go to Israel, you side with the oppressor. You don't side with the rebels. You don't side with the people with no weapons. You don't side with the people with the machine guns or the knives. You side the people with the military arsenal.
Yeah.
Because they were deemed terrorists, less humans, dehumanizing. See how they talk about Palestinians? They are death cults. They are terrorists.
And what are Palestinians like?
Like normal people. Normal people, but they're living in a horrible condition. I married one of them.
Oh, gosh.
So I can report that she has no fangs or nails other than the nails that she does in the nail salon. So she's like a normal human being. And we have normal kids, and they don't turn into werewolves at night. They are normal people. They're normal people who have been in this land, and they were taken away from them. And this was a problem that was imported from a different continent, done by other perpetrators. They were rejected by other white people, and they were just like put on us. And it is terrible, and it should not happen.
So do Palestinians also have issues with Britain and the U.S. then probably?
Of course. Yeah. But I don't think they have any time to have issues with anybody. They have time to survive. They're living in tents right now in Gaza, and the people who live in West Bank are in under threat to be killed or kicked out at any moment. And I just want people to look at them as humans. Everybody who went to Gaza, everybody who went to the West Bank, saw what happened to those people, and then will speak up. They're being shut down.
Are you able to look at Israel as humans too?
Yes. But I asked them, I look at everybody as humans. And I will not do the same mistake that they have been doing to us, dehumanizing us, calling us terrorists. But they are acting like terrorists.
Why don't we give part of our country to Palestine?
Why don't you give part of your country to Jewish people?
Oh, or yeah. Why don't we give part of our country to one of the groups? At least that would help. Do you think?
I think maybe, but it's not.
Or an island. What about that? What about what if you did a merger? You did Palestine.
Palestine. That's a good one. Yes.
Do you think that's possible? Would Palestine accept something like that, where it's like let's give this place?
I'm not Palestinian, so I cannot speak on their behalf. But I think Palestinians want to stay in their land, and I think many of those. This is what drives me crazy because it doesn't make any sense. Any Jewish person all around the world, if you're like a Polish Jewish, like an American Jewish, just because you're Jewish, you can get the Israeli passport right now. And once you get the passport, you can come from Brooklyn, land into Israel, take a piece of land that was owned by a Palestinian right on the spot. Or a home that is owned by a Palestinian, saying that this is your promised land.
Like, what do you mean? You can walk into the house?
Yeah, you can just walk in the house, and you can have videos of people taking their stuff and barging into a Palestinian home in the West Bank. It happens all the time. It doesn't make any sense. A Brooklyn Jew, just because he was born Jew, can just like go to Israel, take the passport, and take a piece of land that is belonged to someone else. Even now, as we speak, does that make any sense?
But most people wouldn't do that.
Many people do that. Many people do that. On every single given day, you have planes with thousands of Jewish people from all over the world, coming from Eastern Europe, coming from Africa, coming from Latin America, coming in America, and settling in the land, settling in Arab land.
Does the Palestinian people, do they have a police department?
They have they have something called the Palestinian Authority, which is an oxymoron. And they are called the Palestinian Authority, but show me an authority that has absolutely no say about the foreign people coming in and taking land from your people.
Yeah.
Dude,
my friend got a job at the airport, and he was a little guy, right? And they gave him a billy club, and it weighed him down, dude. He was so little. He's like... He probably weighed 60 pounds or whatever. And
I think he's more effective more than the Palestinian Authority. He has more power than there.
The club, dude, when you'd see him run, it was he almost had to run sideways because the way the club would like shuffle and like block his legs.
I wish it was that funny.
What's the solution? You have to have some.
The solution is to end the occupation. And the solution is that Israel should stop killing Palestinians, taking their land. It's as simple as that. Details, what land, how much, well, that's not my thing to say because I'm a comedian, not a politician, I'm not a Palestinian. There are Palestinian politicians that can talk on their behalf. But I can tell you whatever is happening now is wrong. And it's not my problem or my issue to come up with a solution because I didn't cause that crisis. It's someone else caused it, and it's not for me to fix it for them. But what I can say, what's happening is wrong.
Are any American or British leaders, and some of this stuff I don't know a ton, I'm trying my best to learn. Is some American or British leaders trying to help negotiate that? Have we tried over the years to help?
Yeah, but it's always been skewed towards Israel. What Israel
is that
wants.
True though?
Yeah. And
because both sides have rejected peace agreements, right?
Yes, but one of them rejected it because basically you're giving them a very shitty deal, and the other side rejected it because they want more. And now they're telling you, it's like, hey, you know what? Forget about the second state. Forget about two-state solution. Even the Israelis say that it's all ours now. Forget it.
What about like Ladder and Bloom or something? Who is doing the or Remark or something? Who's negotiating it all?
I don't know. There's no negotiation now. Like Israel hasn't gone to the negotiation table for the past 20 years.
Like, is Gaza on Zillow? No.
I think if Zillow's.
I'm just joking, dude. Is that offensive?
Oh my God, no. And I learned to laugh about everything. It's like I think Zillow's like. Zillow.
Here's the thing: if it's not on Zillow, I don't think you can take it.
However, it's not in Zillow. It's not. Oh wow!
But I think one thing about a lot of my Jewish friends I notice is they do a good job of working together.
Jewish people are great business people. And I don't want to kind of be the guy who's like, hey, I have black friends, but like, I honestly like my agents, my managers, and they all come from companies that are overwhelmingly Jewish people, and I have no problem dealing with that. My my utmost friend and the guy that I look up to is Jon Stewart. And he's the reason why I'm known to America. When I came on his show, he came to my show. I love him to death. He's my big brother, and he's Jewish. That's why I don't fall into this like Jewish thing. No, they're just like bad people that happen to be Jewish, and there's bad people that happen to be Muslims. There are bad people that happen to be Christians, and there are bad people that happen to be atheists. I don't look through the lens of religion, but I can see people who would use religion in order to advance their policy. The same way that ISIS and Qaeda used Islam in order to promote themselves as the only speakers of Islam, we as Muslims rejected it. And the way that Israel is speaking on behalf of all Jewish people, a lot of Jewish people are rejecting that, because it's not anti-Semitism to attack Israel. It's not anti-Semitism to criticize Zionism. It's just like freedom of expression. And that is why I don't hold that. But they want to reduce you. You're a Jew hater. Dude, relax. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't like when people say that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a way to shut down the conversation, to scare you, to intimidate you, to make people have a negative reaction to you without even you speaking.
Dude, if I was a Jew, if I hated Jewish people, I would know.
You would know. You would know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'd be the first to know.
You go to New York and not eat bagels. You'll know.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I would have an
You
inkling.
boycott bagels in New York.
Yeah. Now, don't do that, dude. Have you had debates with friends like on this topic a lot?
Yeah, many times. And some of them listen, some of them are set in their ways, like anything. Like and that's true for Americans, for Egyptians. I have debates about the Egyptian revolution with Egyptian friends who would never listen to my point of view. So yes, it's a very emotionally charged topic. So you will have people coming in very emotional, and they will not want to hear.
Yeah. Have you heard a good solution idea from a friend?
No, a solution is end the occupation and treat everybody living in that land with equally as don't treat them as subhumans.
But at this point, say they ended the occupation, right?
Yeah.
The kids are never going to forget. It's never going to.
Yeah. You have created a catastrophe. You have created something that will last for decades. Many of those people do not like America right now. They don't like Jewish people now. They don't like. Oh, you just realized. But
well, yeah, because it's American young men and women, and they're probably at some point going to have to go and put their blood in a field somewhere.
Yes, and I as an American, I don't want America being involved in wars in the Middle East. I don't want America to be funding wars in the Middle East. I don't want our taxpayers' money going to fund killing babies.
Some babies are assholes.
Some of them. Yeah, I give you that.
Not a lot of me. Every now and then you're like, whoa, dude.
But like you don't want your.
But I'm
money.
joking too, babies.
Yeah, but you don't want your money to be part of that destruction.
Well, our country's fucking falling apart. Everybody is addicted or dealing with addiction, or families are dealing with loss from addiction. You killed people's spirits with the fucking bullshit plan for the vaccine.
Don't make it worse and go and pay more money for destruction. If it's already been fucked, like deal with these fuckery. Don't make it worse.
Yeah.
And don't go and fuck yourself even more.
I wish you guys could settle it on the field. Is there any sports that Israel and Palestine play against each other?
Circumcision.
Oh, really?
That's the only thing in common.
And who's winning?
I don't know. Like I think we get, because there are more Muslims. I think we're cutting more dicks than they.
Hey, there you go. Huh? This year. Look on the NASDAQ.
Yeah.
And let's see. When you see like the pain and the like physical destruction and the human destruction that's happening over there, and just like the videos of people being like maimed and brutalized on both sides over there, as a surgeon, that must make you feel some type of way too.
Yeah,
huh?
and there's a lot of surgeons and doctors who've been to Gaza, and they come back with horrible stories.
Really?
Because they're all over there. They tell you, because every single hospital in Gaza is bombed. 36 hospitals, all of them destroyed. You have like maternity wards and incubators being killed. They have basically a place that has no basic needs, and you're bombing the shit out of them every day. And you say, oh, we couldn't get Hamas. It's like Israel. I think the IDF would be the worst in playing Jenga.
Yeah,
like okay, this is a terrorist. The whole region went down.
Well, you do think that if the army is that acute, that they would be able to be more articulate?
You mean like killing people less discriminately?
Just like getting exactly whoever Hamas is.
They can, but they don't care because we have seen them on video killing babies. We cannot just tell me it's by mistake when you have babies with sniper bullets in their head.
Yeah.
Right? Twice. You can say that's my mistake. You can say, oh, we're trying our best, and then you blow up an empty hospital or an empty school just for spite.
Yeah.
You can't say, oh, we're not doing that by mistake, and you keep and you cannot have a war when 80% of the people are displaced, 100% of the people are 100% of the place is destroyed, and 50% of the infrastructure is like completely wiped out. It's 8%. It's just you can't. This is not war. This is annihilation. And
do you think it's going to stop or no?
It's been going on for 8 months, and I don't know how much they're gonna continue. And
I think there was just what's the latest?
No, nothing. They just bombed there's a video of a refugee hospital.
All Palestinians to leave Gaza's largest city. The latest. Israel orders all Palestinians to leave.
Yeah.
Gaza's
Also, there's a.
Where do
video.
they go if they're ordered to leave?
They just in the rural areas around. They want to push them into Sinai, but Sinai they can't. But they're closed, and
Sinai's closed.
The borders with Sinai. Also, you can see there's a video of a refugee hospital, a refugee school in Gaza. That the moment that they were playing football and Israel just dropped a bomb, and they were playing football.
Well, let me read this. Israel launched the war in Gaza after Hamas' October 7th attack, in which militants stormed into Israel, killed some 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and abducted about 250. Since then, Israeli ground offensives and bombardments have killed more than 38,000 people in Gaza. According to the territory's health ministry, it does not distinguish between combatants and civilians in its count. Wow.
But yeah, that's the video. They were playing football. This is like a refugee camp. Mm-hmm. And then the moment...
What is a refugee camp?
A refugee school. They're like inside guys, they're all... See?
Oh.
That's every single day. Every single day. That's every single day. In schools and in hospitals, every single day. That just happened 2 days ago.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, I don't know. I just remember when I was a kid, my mom would say sometimes, like, I don't know why we're sending Israel all this money. You know? But she never liked Netanyahu.
Yeah, but whether Netanyahu or Modi, we
said he looks like a bad guy.
We send money to Israel even before Netanyahu. The question is, there's just like a lot of questions, and we need to be able to ask these questions without having fear of being cancelled or destroyed or having our career taken away from us.
Well, we fucking threw that out the window this episode.
I don't think you did anything wrong, Theo.
Huh?
Theo, you did well, man.
Even listening, though, sometimes.
No, even listening now, you're afraid of listening. What happened to our American freedoms? It disintegrated to being afraid of listening.
Oh, as a human being, I'm okay. I think just my life, I get worried about being able to still do my job.
You did nothing wrong, Theo. You got a guy who spoke his mind, which is what Americans are.
I agree.
You just gave me a platform to speak our mind, and you're bringing someone else who will say the opposite of what I'm going to say. It's going to be up to people to decide.
How do you support your Jewish friends, like just in the U.S. and stuff or whatever, who disagree with the kind of some of the situation there? Is that kind of tough sometimes?
It is tough for them. I have a lot of Jewish friends who are in disagreement with their parents, who are pretty much Zionist, and they don't agree with that.
And a Zionist, what is it again? Just give me one.
According to Jewish people or Zionist people, it is just simply the having a national state of Israel in the Middle East. That's basic. But it's for us. It's more than that. For us, it's more than this. It's not just the This is what they tell you. Just the establishment. But for us, they have done that by displacing people, colonizing their land, and taking away their homes, taking away their lands. For us, Zionism is not good.
Okay. For who?
For Arabs and Muslims, because they took a land from Palestinians under the pretense of this thing, and then they tell you it's decolonization.
If Israel moved out of the territory there, do you think that another group would move right into it?
No, I don't. There's 7 or 8 million Jews in Israel. That's a lot of people to move out.
Right, but I'm just saying, say if that was vacated, would Syrians or Egyptians or somebody else cruise right in there?
Because there are already Palestinians there.
And how many Palestinians live in Israel?
There are 3.5 million who live in the West Bank. 2.3 million live in Gaza. So a total of 8. inside Israel, in the territory, there are 2 million of Palestinians live in Israel, and there are 7 million Palestinians who live outside, refugees.
And where is one of the largest spaces of Palestinians outside of
Jordan.
Jordan. What about in America?
No, maybe there are like half.
Maybe
a million,
Michigan?
No. Michigan, there's a lot of Muslims, but many of them are Lebanese, many of them are Iraqis, some of them are Palestinians. I think they are about like 400,000 in America. A total of 7 million outside of Palestine. 7 million. Some of them are refugees. Some of them are citizens of other countries now.
How much longer do you think
I see 175. Yeah.
Oh, 175,000 Palestinian Americans.
In America, yeah.
Wow.
That's like 0.05. They're very small.
Some of them are on Wilshire every other Saturday.
Yeah,
I'm talking about?
Yeah. Three of them. Some of them have the best restaurants here.
Well, I'm super glad we got to talk about it. Sorry if some stuff I was kind of like trying to like, I think some stuff I don't know what to say, I guess. And sometimes I just listen because I don't know how to like. Some conversations I just you just don't know what to say or do.
Yeah, and I understand because for Americans have so much to worry about. They have to worry about their own daily life and their own like paying their bills. And then it's like, why do we have to care about this remote place in the Middle East that we will never see? And now why is
it's a great question.
This is like an everyday. This is an everyday. Why do we have? And I feel for them. But the reason why Americans should care about that because that is affecting our government, our democracy, our way of life. Because if you're an American, you think this is remote from you. No, it doesn't, because it affects the way that you speak about politics. You hear many times you say, I don't know if I'm going to go to jail. Well, if you talk about something that's happening that foreign, you shouldn't be worried about going to jail. You should be worried about talking about the government giving that much money for destruction. So it affects you. Whether you like it or not, it affects you.
Yeah, I think one of the bigger problems that we have is that we facilitate so much war and weaponry in the world to try and leverage things. But then maybe that needs to happen for us to have the safety we have. And maybe we're, it's hard to know all of that stuff, how one thing affects the other,
But you see, I find that this is actually the end result of every conversation. Oh, we don't know. Maybe this is what will happen just in order. But that's like a way to stay complacent.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Because what is happening is not right. All of this money, all of these billions of dollars coming out from our pockets, etc., that is not right. And I'm talking about money, politics, and freedom. These are the three things that are the cornerstones of American life.
That's a good point.
Our politics, our freedom, and our money. If we don't know where our money is going and why is our politics is being taken over by a foreign lobby, that is wrong.
Yeah.
And you need to start from there.
Yeah, it just breaks my heart. I mean, you see what happened is over there, and it's heartbreaking. And it's like, well, I just wanted to learn a little bit more about it, and I wanted to get some perspective from somebody that was at least able to speak about it, and who was willing to speak up about it. And you've spoken vibrantly about it, and
I understand how difficult it is because maybe some of your listeners, your audience, don't really care about that stuff. So, and maybe for them this is too heavy, but for the people who are interested, what you did is to bring a problem that affects us whether we like it or not. And I'm happy that you're bringing a rabbi to speak on a totally opposite level. And I'm happy that when people have more questions, you bring more people to speak to you. I'm happy to come back again and to talk to the people. And because at the end of the day, you listen not just for entertainment, but for education.
Yeah.
And there's so many things in that world that I don't know. So I listen to shows that will tell me. So I'm not here to attack anybody. I'm not here to say bad things about anybody. I'm here to just invite people to be more curious and to understand how things work and to form their own opinion and not just give up to, this is the way it is, we can't change anything. Because if you said that, nothing will change. And then you will come up tomorrow and you will complain about why things are not changing. It just needs to start from asking questions.
Yeah.
Asking questions, open your mind, and I will be more than happy to come back again and talk about. I'm sure that you can have so many questions, so many rebuttals. Like ask him this, ask him that, and I'm happy to come and if you would get me on the show again. And I'm happy to speak. You see how we talked? It was nothing. There's nothing threatening of what we did today.
Yeah.
There's nothing anti-Semitic. There's nothing Islamophobic. We didn't go and attack people from different faiths. We just talk about politics, and I might be wrong, but prove me wrong.
Oh, yeah. Bassem, thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, inshallah. What do people say?
Inshallah is like if God wills.
If God wills.
If God wills.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. But I said
Shalala or shallah?
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
I was just like, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah, that's it. Amazing.
Inshallah.
Yes.
People can find you.
BassemYoussef.xyz or Bassem at Instagram. I'm starting my Montreal. I'm coming 20th of July. Then I'm going a whole American tour in Florida, Chicago, Minneapolis, San Francisco, Chicago, Minneapolis. I said that. Yeah. Tampa, Orlando, Toronto. So I'll see you guys.
Marvelous. Yeah. If you haven't seen this guy, watch also his interview with Piers Morgan. It's insightful and interesting and funny.
Thank you.
And it's okay to say that, we have to laugh in times of pain. That's why God put it into us.
Thank you.
And just thank you so much for your time, brother.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the space. Thank you for accommodating me. I appreciate you. Love all of your listeners, guys. Love you all.
Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be cornerstone.